A tribute to my granny. I would have never thought that you would have left so soon. I remember you saying to me, death is all a part of the life cycle and that there shouldn't be a time for sadness, but a time to rejoice. However, right now, I don't know what to think. One of your favorite sayings was never to question God, everything happens for a reason. But Lord, I just want to know why. Why my granny? I am really going to miss the times when I constantly shout for you just to annoy you, and you responding by saying why I don't go and shout for my mother. I am going to miss being able to leave school and say I am going to shout my granny. I am going to miss our time just sitting and laughing together. I am truly thankful that I got to spend time with you. I have so many memories with you. The stories you spoke about growing up, especially walking from Ashton to Rock Hall to tape meeting money, and how heavy I was as a baby, leaving your hands and hips stiff. You have always been here for me. You are one of the most loving and caring persons I knew. You always put your loved one before yourself, and that's why I can say I had the best grandmother. Love you always, your granddaughter, Inglusha.
A tribute and celebration for the life of Lenora Erla Marita Austin, a much loved and cherished aunt, dies. Good morning. My name is Annette Leslie. I was very sorry to get the news this month from Aunt Erla's children that Aunt Erla had passed. Last month, I was on holiday in Barbados when I visited her home, and she had been at the front of the house doing a bit of gardening. I live in England, the United Kingdom, but over 68 years ago, I was born in Barbados, St. Peter. My mother, Verimir Leslie, left Barbados when I was 2 years old to work and live in England. I remained living in the care and custody of my grandparents, Garfield and Elma Yeoman. At that time in 1953, I lived in a house with 8 other family members. That included Aunt Erla. Although at between 9 and 10 years old, she was only 7 years older than I, she automatically stepped up, took the role of mothering and parenting me alongside my grandparents. We lived in Ashton, in an area now designated as an area of outstanding natural beauty, and we lived in a smallish though extended wooden family house surrounded by acres and acres of fertile fields with every conceivable fruit tree and other trees, sugarcane fields, vegetables and ground provisions, and wild herbs for making bush tea. That is where Aunt Erla, with 4 generations of family in the same house, was born and raised. Yes, we were surrounded by coconuts, bananas, mangoes, big avocados, breadfruit, paw, salt, guavas, cherries, akis, golden apples, sugar apples, ground provisions, giant cane lilies, dunks trees, monkey dumplings, and more. If you could call the name, it grew on our land or in the nearby gully, very close by. In her care role, in her caregiving role of me, every evening, Aunt Erla patiently, gently, and beautifully plaited my hair in readiness for me attending school the next day. She would ensure my school uniform and other clothes were clean and ready for wearing. Aunt Erla was also my protector, shielding me from anyone she felt was being unfair to me. And she and we had a great relationship and we chatted easily. She would talk much and clearly when she had something to say. Other times she would be quiet. She didn't talk just for the sake of talking. Aunt Erla was a good listener. She was of a gentle nature, and she was sensitive and observant, and she would know and understand you. That's how it was for me. Although I was a fairly well-behaved child, I think I was a bit of a handful at times, as I was always climbing coconut trees, out playing and exploring my local neighbourhood. Fast forward to this year, one of our Ashton neighbours from that period in the 1950s recalled that Aunt Erla fussed over me like a cat with a newborn kitten, she said, like a loving mother. So from a very early age, Aunt Erla showed she would be a natural, loving mother. From lovingly caring for first her dolls and then for me. I was pleased when at 17 years old, Aunt Erla married the handsome St. Lucie boy George Austin, becoming a housewife, a homemaker all her years of marriage. A homemaker, yes, that was her job, her profession. She did not have a career outside her home. Her family were her full-time work and care. 4 children and 8 grandchildren. Many times I've reminisced as an adult telling others that the unconditional love, the nurture, the acceptance of me for who I am, the kindness and gentleness that Aunt Erla, my grandparents and some others showed to me during my first 9 formative years before I left Barbados helped shape me into the person I am today. Yes, setting my feet on solid foundations, helping to build my self-esteem and belief in myself. I am testimony to that lavish love and care from Aunt Erla and others, and in turn it has allowed me to invest in others, including doing volunteer and project work to encourage and build up children and others. Over the years, including the last 5 years, Aunt Erla and I loved to reminisce over some of the fun times we had when I lived in Barbados, especially on Fridays. That was when workers like her father got paid, so we joined him at a mile and quarter corner shop for refreshments on Friday evening. Aunt Erla, myself and 2 or 3 of her sisters. We ate firm favourites like Wibbix and corned beef, and drinks included juicy and Coca-Cola. Then Saturday nights we would be further up the road near Rose Hill, eating fish cakes, pudding and sauce, laughing and joking, and then frightening ourselves with so many stories about the out man and the heart man. So when returning home after a night out, we could no longer take the shortcut across the fields but had to take the main roads back home. Sundays, between maybe 3 attendances at church, we skipped out the road to catch the man with a cart and buy some of the tasty, cold and colourful icy snowball desserts. And Early and I loved to recount these and many other regular socials with long-time friends and neighbours in our community. Indeed, treasured memories that live on in the heart. To quote Aunt Erla's own words to me in recent years, we bloom for a time. Dear Aunt Erla, truly, you bloom for a time. But importantly, I give thanks, I give gratitude that your legacy, the love you showed, will live on. Aunt Erla, rest in peace. Rest in God. Amen. Your niece, Annette. Thank you.